Hi students, welcome back to the world of English. In today's session we are going to begin with Unit 5 which is titled as Biodiversity. Now what do you understand by the word biodiversity? It's a variety of plant and animal life in the world or in a particular habit, a high level of which is usually considered to be important and desirable. And our Unit 5 Biodiversity has reading A which is titled as Environment. Now what do you understand by the word environment? The surroundings or conditions in which a person, animal or plant lives or operates. Fine? Before we get into the actual part of our lesson, let's have a look at the pictures. Now what do you see in the first picture? Do you like it? If not, why not? We see a lot of garbage thrown on the river bank near the houses, and we don't like it even a bit, as it is filthy. It is a breeding place of mosquitoes and other dangerous germs and insects that kill people. Now, how is the second picture different from the first? Do you feel good about it? Give your own reasons. The place shown in the second picture is very neat and hygienic, unlike the first. There is a greenery everywhere. The roads are neat and tidy. It is free from pollution, and we feel this is kind of place one would dream to live in. Don't you feel there is lot of difference between the two pictures? Yes. Well, students, our reading A, the environment, is actually the interview of Wangari Maathai, an environmental activist and Nobel Prize winner. And she was the first African woman who won this Nobel Peace Prize award. And she gives an interview with NHK Radio Japan. So it is an excerpt from the interview of Wangari Maathai. Now what do you understand by the word environmentalist? One concerned about environmental quality, especially of human environment with respect to the control of pollution. So one such woman is Wangari Maathai. She was very much concerned about the environment that she was living. Interview with Wangari Maathai, environmental activist and Nobel Prize winner. Wangari Maathai started the Green Belt movement and also fought for the equal rights for women in Africa. She is the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. So, well, students, the lesson, the environment, is actually the excerpts from her interview with NHK Radio. Now, what do you understand by the word excerpt? It is a short extract from a film or broadcast or piece of music or writing. Now, in this case, it is actually a piece of interview of Wangari Maathai. It is given as a lesson in Unit 5. So, it is only just a piece of interview of Wangari Maathai with NHK Radio Japan. So who is Wangari Maathai? She is actually an environmental activist, and she started the Green Belt movement and also fought for the equal rights for women in Africa. Now what is meant by Green Belt movement? It is a movement to protect the environment, and she was the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize award. Now you understand, right? In interview, actually the interviewer poses a question and the person answers. So what is the first question? How did you become aware of the environment? So the interviewer asks or poses a question to Wangari Maathai, how she became aware of the environment. So the answer from Wangari Maathai was, from the time we started, we were trying to respond to the basic needs of people in the rural areas. And people were asking for clean drinking water, for food, for energy, which is mostly firewood, for building material, for fodder, for the animals, and all these come from the land. So we knew that what the people in the rural areas were asking for had to do with the environment. When the interviewer poses the first question, how she became aware of the environment, Wangari Maathai answers, from the time they started, they were trying to respond to the basic needs of the people in rural areas. Now, what are the basic needs? They were, clean drinking water, food, shelter, clothing, right? So, they were trying to respond to the basic needs of the people in rural areas, in villages. And people were asking for clean drinking water, for food, for energy, which is mostly firewood, for building material, for fodder for the animals. And all these came from the land. That is how she realizes, because everything that they were asking were actually coming from the environment, from the land. They did not have those things because the environment was degraded. So, from the very beginning, we understood that we have to rehabilitate the environment. The forested mountains were the source of water and the source of rain. So, when you deforest, you cause a shortage of water and a change of rainfall patterns, and therefore, people are not able to get food and water. Why the people were unable to have their basic necessities? Because the environment was degraded. The meaning of degraded is reduced in quality, or here the environment was spoiled or damaged. So from the very beginning they understood that they have to rehabilitate the environment. Now what is meant by rehabilitate? To return to something to a good condition, which means the environment was not in a good condition, and they understood that the environment had to be rehabilitated, had to be brought to something a good condition. The forested mountains were the source of water and the source of rain. So, what happens when you deforest? The meaning of deforest is to cut down trees. As a result, it causes a shortage of water and a change of rainfall patterns. You understand how the trees are connected to rainfall? It's the process of evaporation, right? So when there is a deforestation, in turn it is affecting the rainfall patterns. So therefore people were not able to get food and water, right? Now if there is no water, they won't be able to cultivate any crop, right? So as a result, people were unable to have food and water, and their basic necessities were not met. Therefore, in order for them to have good environment that can sustain their livelihoods, it is important to have a government that accounts to them, that protects their interests, that is concerned about their lives. It's clear, right? So Wangari Maathai says, in order for the people to have good environment, it is very, very important the government to play its role to sustain their livelihood. Now, what is meant by sustain? It is to strengthen or support. To strengthen or support their livelihood. Now, what is meant by livelihood? A livelihood is a means of making a living. It encompasses people's capabilities, assets, income, activities required to secure the necessities of life. So Wangari Maathai says it is important that the government plays an important role. Clear? How is peace connected to a good environment? So the another question that is posed by the interviewer was, how is peace connected to a good environment? And Wangari Maathai answers, many wars that are fought in the world are fought over natural resources. Some wars are fought because the environment is so degraded that it is not able to support communities, and so they fight over the little that is left. Others are fought because some people want to take a lot of the resources to control them and to keep many other people out. So what does Wangari Maathai give, or answer to the question how peace is connected to a good environment? She says, many years ago, mostly many wars were taking place just because of natural resources. Wars were fought over natural resources. So some wars are fought because the environment is degraded, and it is not able to support communities, it is not able to provide the necessities, or unable to support the communities. As a result, they fight over the little that is left. You understand, degraded, it's spoiled or damaged. And what is the other reason the wars are fought? Other wars are fought because some people want to take a lot of resources to control them and to keep many other people out. Okay, to control them, they make wars and take away whatever they have. So please understand, years ago many wars were taking place or took place just because of natural resources. One reason is that the environment was degraded. As a result, it was not able to support communities. So people were waging war against the others in order to take the little that was left. And other reason is to take complete control over the other and loot whatever they had. Clear, right? Now, whether this happens at the national level or at the regional level or even at the global level, sooner or later there is discontent. And when that discontent is strong enough, there is conflict. So, good management of natural resources, equitable distribution of these resources is important for peace. So the wars or the conflicts can take at the national level or at the regional or even at the global level. Wars can take place. So sooner or later there is discontent. Now what is meant by discontent? It is a dissatisfaction. And when that dissatisfaction is very strong, there is conflict, there is fight. So good management of the natural resources and the equitable distribution of these resources are very, very important for peace. Now do you understand how peace and environment is connected? When there is no equitable distribution of natural resources, there is conflict. Conflict is nothing but lack of peace or the absence of peace. At the same time, good management of the natural resources is not possible if you do not have democratic space, respect for human beings, respect for human rights, giving other people dignity. That is why the three themes are related like the African stool, with the three legs and the basin on which you sit. The three legs are: one leg is peace, the other leg is good governance, and the third leg is sustainable management of resources. You understand? The discontentment leads to conflict. Conflict is nothing but a quarrel or war. So Wangari Maathai says it's important to have good management of the natural resources and equitable distribution of these resources. And at the same time, good management of natural resources is not possible if we do not have democratic space or respect for human beings, respect for human rights, giving other people dignity, respect. So Wangari Maathai says that is why the three themes are related like the African stool. What is that? It's three legs. With the three legs and the basin on which you sit. One leg is peace, other leg is good governance, and the third leg is sustainable management of resources. So Wangari Maathai says the development can take place only when there is peace, there is good governance, and sustainable management of resources. If any one of the legs is not given importance or ignored, there won't be any development. When you have those three legs, now you can put the basin, which is development. And if you try to balance that stool without those three, it won't happen. We have not shared our resources equitably. We have allowed some people, especially those in power, to acquire a lot at the expense of the majority. and we have also engaged in conflict. So Wangari Maathai says it's important to give priority for three legs where the basin of development stands. The three legs are peace, governance, and sustainable management of natural resources. If any one of the legs is ignored, the basin of development won't take place. And Wangari Maathai says we have not shared our resources equitably. So she says the natural resources are not shared equally. We have allowed some people, especially those in power, to acquire a lot at the expense of the majority. Now, what is meant by at the expense of, at the cost of? Which means the people, those who were in authority, have taken what is necessary, what is more than necessary, excessively. So, and we have also engaged in conflict. Now, why conflict takes place? It's just because of discontentment. They are not satisfied. What was the environment like when you were young, and how did you go about saving it? So, another question that was posed by the interviewer was, how was the environment when Wangari Maathai was young, and how did she go about saving it? When I was a child, which is almost more than 50 years ago, the environment was very pristine. So Wangari Maathai says that when she was a child, the environment was very pristine. It was extremely fresh and green. That was 50 years ago. 50 years ago, the environment was very fresh and green and clean, and it was very beautiful and very green. We were a British colony, and the British government at the time started to clear cut the indigenous forests in our forested mountains because they wanted to establish commercial plantations of exotic species of trees such as the pines from the northern hemisphere and the eucalyptus from Australia. So they were actually a British colony, and the British government at that time started to clear cut the indigenous forests. What is meant by indigenous? Native forest in their forested mountains. Where were they living? They were actually living in forested mountains. Wangari Maathai and her people were living in forested mountains. Why? Because they wanted to establish commercial plantation. Now, what is meant by commercial plantation? It is, it is made up of compartments or blocks of trees where the trees of one compartment are almost the same species and have all been planted at fixed spacing. Do you understand what is commercial plantation? Where the trees are planted, in compartments or in blocks, and that particular block is, belong to only that particular trees. So the Britishers started the commercial plantation of exotic species. Now, what is meant by exotic? Exotic species are, unusual plants, or originating in a or a characteristic of a distant foreign country, not of a natives. They were of other countries, plants or trees. What are those? They were actually pine trees from northern hemisphere and eucalyptus from Australia. These trees were very nice. They grow tall and they grow very fast. But as they grow, they destroy all the local biological diversity. All the flora and fauna disappeared. So, although we were getting commercial timber for the growing timber industry, we also destroyed our local flora and fauna. So the trees were very nice, they grew very tall and they grew very fast. But as a result, what happened? They grew. As they grew, they destroyed all the local biological diversity. Now, what is meant by biological diversity? It is a variety of plants and animals in a particular place. So, these trees trees of exotic species, unusual plants. What are those? Pine trees and eucalyptus trees. As they grew very fast, very tall, they actually destroyed the local biological diversity. They have caused a lot of harm to the variety of plants and animals that were existing in that particular area. All the flora and fauna disappeared. What is meant by flora and fauna? Plants and animals. Although we were getting commercial timber for the growing timber industry, we also destroyed our local flora and fauna. The good thing was that they could get the commercial timber for the industry, but in turn, actually, they were destroying the local flora and fauna. Plants and animals were being affected. As a result, these forests, which were the water towers, were no longer able to contain the water. So, when the rains fell, the water ran downstream and ended up in the lakes and oceans instead of going down into the underground reservoir so that it could come back to us in the form of rivers. So, as a result, what happened? The water towers, the forests, which were the water towers, were no longer able to contain the water, and when the rain fell, the water ran down the stream and ended up in the lakes and oceans instead of coming to the reservoirs. Now, what is meant by downstream? It is towards the mouth of a river. Instead of coming to the reservoirs, the water ran down the stream towards the lakes and oceans. One thing we noted is that not only did the rain patterns change, became less, but also the rivers started drying up. We lost our local biological diversity. So that's a lot of damage to our environment. That is why in 1975, at the very first United Nations Conference for Women in Mexico, many of the women were saying, we need food, we need water, we need clean drinking water, we need fodder for our animals. So what is one of the most important thing that they had noted? There was a lot of change in rain patterns and it became less. The rain became less. As a result, the rivers started drying up and they lost their local biological diversity. It had affected a lot the animals and plants that were existing. And as a result, what happened? The environment was damaged to the core. So that is why in 1975, at the very first United Nations Conference for Women in Mexico, many of the women were asking for their need for food, their need for water, their need for clean drinking water, and even fodder for their animals, which means they were not able to have those things. And I was wondering what has happened. These are things that were there 20 years ago when I was a child. The environment had changed, and that's when I started this campaign to restore the vegetation and to restore the land and to rehabilitate the forests. Who is I here? It is actually Wangari Maathai. She says she was wondering what had happened. And she says those things were there 20 years ago when she was a child. How was the environment when she was a child? The environment was very pristine, it was very clean, it was very clear, and it was very green. But now the environment had changed, and that's when she started this campaign. Now, what is meant by campaign? It is a movement or operation because the environment had completely changed. So Wangari Maathai says she started this campaign to restore the vegetation and to restore the land and to rehabilitate the forests. Now what is meant by rehabilitate? To return to something to a good condition. Already the forests were losing their, flora and fauna. So Wangari Maathai starts a campaign in order to restore the good condition of the forest and the land. What happened when you started working with the women? So, another question that was posed by the interviewer was, what happened when Vangari Mate started working with the women? She answers, well, the first time when I told them let us plant trees, the women said they did not know how to plant trees. So I asked the foresters to come and teach them, but they were very complicated, they were professionals. It became very complicated for ordinary illiterate women, so I told the women we shall use our common sense and just do what we do with other seeds. Women work on the farms. So when Vangari Mata says let's start planting trees, the women said that they did not know how to plant trees. So Vangari Mata invited some foresters. Now who is a forester? Forest manager. Okay, the foresters are forest managers, those who manage in forests. So Vangari Mata invited the foresters to come and teach these women. But the teaching of these foresters were very complicated. The teaching was very complicated. It was very difficult for the women to understand because these foresters were professionals, they were experts, they were trained people. And these women were actually uneducated. They were illiterate women and they found it very difficult to grasp, understand the teachings of the foresters. So Bangari Mata said, let us use our common sense and just do what we do with other seeds. And usually women work on the farms. They are the ones who plant, they are the ones who cultivate, they are the ones who produce food. So I told them that seeds of trees are like any other seeds. So if they were to treat these tree seeds the same way they treat other seeds of food crops, there is no difference. I told them to look for old broken pots even and put seeds there. So usually the women work on farms and they are the ones who plant, they are the ones who cultivate and they are the ones who produce food. So Vangari Maatai told all the women to treat the seeds as they treat the other seeds. So if they were to treat the tree seeds the same way they treat other seeds of food crops, there is no much difference. And she asked all the women to look for old broken pots, search for old broken pots and bring and put seeds in the broken pots. They will germinate and they will know these are the seedlings from the seeds they planted, and we gave them plastic bags to be able to put those seedlings and to nurture them. And when they were about half a meter long, then they could go and transplant them on their farms. In the beginning, it was difficult, but they soon gained confidence and they became very competent foresters. So I call them foresters without diplomas. So Vangarimata says the seeds will germinate. Germinate is to grow or sprout, and they will know these are the seedlings. Who will know? The women will know that the seedlings are from the seeds they had planted in the broken pots. And Bangari Mata gave them the plastic bags to be able to put those seedlings. Seedlings are, saplings, small plants, and to nurture them. And when they were about a half a meter long, then they could go and transplant them on their farms. So initially, the seeds were sown in the pots, and when they were germinated, they are removed from the pots and put in plastic bags. And once these seeds are grown into seedlings half a meter, Vangari Mata asked all the women to take or to transplant them on their farms. Now what is meant by transplant? It is to relocate or shift from the plastic bag to the farms. In the beginning, it was very difficult for the women, but soon they gained confidence and they became very competent foresters. Now, what is meant by competent, skilled, and experts? They became very expert, they became very competent. And so Vangari Mata called all these women foresters without diplomas. What is meant by diploma? It's a certificate, right? So, Bangari Mate called all these illiterate women foresters without diploma. These women did not go to any universities or colleges to gain certificates, but with the help of Wangari Maathai, they learned how to plant. They learned how to plant, and finally they gained confidence and they became experts, competent foresters. So Wangari Maathai called them as foresters without diplomas. Well, students, here we end our part 1 of reading a environment. I believe you have understood. See you in the next session.